Hey, assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope everyone watching this is having a good day. It is halfway through Ramadan as I make this video, so I am feeling a little sad because the month is almost over. So today I'm making a video to talk about the differences between certain graduate degrees with like similar titles, and what is the best course of what's the best option, I guess, or the best way to approach different grad programs that are very similar. So I I have some kids that I mentor. I mentor students or alumni from Stony Brook, um, Rutgers, and NJIT, as well as some University of Texas or University of California schools. For whatever reason, New York, New Jersey, Texas, California, those seem to be the places where I'm the most active. That just happens to be how it is. So I have an NJIT sophomore who asked me the difference between some of the graduate programs at NJIT that he's interested in. He's thinking now because he's finishing his sophomore year this semester, and he's thinking that by his senior year he would actually like to take some graduate courses because NJIT does allow you to take, I think, up to two graduate classes in your undergrad that can then double dip and count towards your graduate program, right? So it saves you a lot of money because in grad school, a credit is usually about $1,000, right? In undergrad, it's about 300 to 400. So if you can take, six graduate credits, and pay what's six times four, 2,400 instead of $6,000. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So NJIT has two degrees that are kind of similar to the layman, I guess. If you ask the difference to a typical HR person, I don't know if they would know the difference. One is a master's in information technology administration and security. Very mouthy, right? It's not master's in information technology, it's information technology administration and security. Then they have a master's in information systems, and I think it gets even deeper. Like I think they even have a master's in you know what? Let me look it up. So I have the information here. NJIT graduate program. I should have opened this tab before I started talking, right? My problem is I talk first before I have all the information. Yes, we know you have master. Okay, so one caveat that I don't like about NJIT, and that's something a lot of schools do, is I'll Google, NJIT master's programs. Instead of taking me directly to the page that lists all the programs, it'll take me to a page that says, hey, welcome to NJIT graduate school, blah, blah, blah. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to our course catalog? Do you want to go to our programs? It's like, that's what I'm interested in. Take me to your programs first. Like, that's what I Googled, right? So let me put this on silent. So yeah, I'm looking at all the graduate programs. So this is where it gets, it gets even more complicated than I made it sound, right? So they have a master's in business and information systems. They have a master's in information systems, which is the program I'm in. They have a master's in information technology and administration security, not administration and security, and administration security. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so you have three degrees. You have business and information systems. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah, business information systems, then information systems, and then information technology and administration security. So it can be confusing when someone's looking at grad school and they see these three programs and they don't know what is what. So their information systems, right, is kind of, I guess, a recent type of degree. And it's actually more prevalent. It's more common. The information technology programs are disappearing. For example, I believe when I was an undergrad, I was looking at IT programs. I remember in the city, I think Columbia offered it. I don't want to be quoted as saying so, and then turns out I'm lying. But I remember one of the big name schools in the city had a master's in information technology. But when I checked back like a few years later, it had become an information systems degree, right? So information systems is becoming more common. It's a relatively new or recent degree. Recent meaning last like 10, 15 years. That's quite recent. And I'm seeing it pop up, more and more. And schools, I think, are actually finding a way to offer it more and more, which is interestingly enough. For example, there are smaller schools that might not have computer science They might not have like a proper computer science department, but they'll have a business school, and that business school will offer information systems masters. But these people don't even offer, they might not even offer an undergraduate computer science degree or have anything tech, they might not even have an information technology degree, but they're able to offer these masters in information systems. So it's always interesting to me when a school doesn't offer proper IT undergraduate education, or I guess it's always interesting when a school doesn't have an undergraduate education in some area but has graduate education, right? I mean, imagine a school that offers like a PhD in biology, but then you can't even do an undergrad in biology. Like you'd be like, hey, what is this? So NJIT offers these degrees, the information systems is a relatively new degree, and they're all similar sounding and they can be confusing. So my take on this is that information technology, I guess, is sort of it's become synonymous with information systems. Information technology, however, deals a lot with you learn a lot about networking, you learn a little bit about coding, you learn some cybersecurity. It's a very technical degree, right? It's a very technical degree, and if you want to have a technical master's education, you should go for it. With that said, though, if you're only finding information systems programs around you, because that's in some areas that's all you're going to find, it's fine, right? Information systems kind of blends business with technology, and I think it's important because there's a lot of IT folks who they can work on something, but they don't understand its purpose or its business value. And I think when you have some of that business acumen, or you understand why what you're working on, what its purpose is, it changes your approach to it, right? If you kind of have that context. And with information systems, you develop soft skills, you develop some management skills, and you learn what you need to know about business, about running, projects a little bit. Like it to me, the information systems degree is a lot more versatile, right? It's less technical, obviously. Um, and then I think the business information system, which by the way is very NJIT specific. I've never actually seen a master's in business and information systems. It looks to me just from the curriculum that one is kind of very business heavy, right? So you have IT on one end of the spectrum, this very technical degree. Information systems is in the middle, which is, I think that's the most comfortable degree, right? Like there's a reason I chose that program, not the IT administration security program. I chose information systems. Then you have the business and information systems degree, which is sort of, I think, business heavy. And then, IT classes are sort of like on the back end. Like if the degree is 30 credits, you might be doing like 6 or 9 IT classes. With information systems, it's actually kind of IT heavy, where it's like 18 to 21 credits technical, and then, 9 to 12 will be sort of electives or business oriented. And then the IT degree is like 24 credits for IT, and then 6 can be electives, right? So, if people are looking at these differences, all these degrees are valuable. You can't go wrong. It's just knowing the content, right? If you get an IT degree, it's going to be technical. If you get information systems, it's going to be blended. If you get business information systems, which I've never seen before, it's going to be business heavy. So it just comes down to your goals. I hate that. I hate that noise that comes from the upstairs apartment. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I would just honestly, that's really all it comes down to. I like the NJIT degree because I felt like I wanted a program that blended business with technology. I think a lot of business is being done with technology, and learning more about that ecosystem, or just having, I guess, filling in the gaps was important to me. It was also an important credential to have as someone who has been getting by with just, like my undergrad was psychology, right? Pre-med in psychology. Nobody wants someone at the high level. Like it's hard at the high level to get certain positions without like an MBA or advanced credentials, which I could argue against. I think experience matters, and I think my deliverables and my experience kind of speaks for itself. But I understand that if companies have a certain way of thinking, um, that's their way of thinking, and they're just slow to adapt, and they're moving at their own pace. And there's no amount of explaining or that I can do or negotiating to tell them that, like, I know you say you want someone with an MBA. I might not have one. I'm working on one, but I should still, I will still be an asset. If they don't want to go with it, that's fine. But that just goes into, I guess, why I'm pursuing these advanced degrees when like I seem to have the knowledge necessary. Like by the end of the information systems degree, I'm not sure if I will have learned a lot more. I'm sure I'll learn something. But at the end of it, I don't think I'm going to turn around and be like, this was life changing. Like I'm very confident just looking at all the classes that a lot of what I'm going to learn at the end of the graduate program is just stuff that I've been doing over the last few years. So that was it. I just wanted to kind of, explain the difference between these degrees. Um, I do want to warn you though, don't don't split hairs. I mean, if you're considering graduate programs, between IT and information systems, quite frankly, if you can only find information systems and it's cheaper than like the an IT degree, get the cheaper masters as long as it comes from a reputable university, right? Like it has a name that matters, especially in grad school where you don't get financial aid, like you're paying out of pocket. Find a balance. Find the most affordable degree that has the highest ROI. So it has, decent name, quality education, quality alumni network, all that stuff. Do your own research. Because if you're passionate about being technical, there's a lot of information systems programs will allow you to take some electives. You can fill those electives up with very difficult IT classes if you want. So you could honestly, your degree might say information systems, but if you play your cards right and you work closely with an advisor who is understanding and knows like what your plans are, you can tell them, hey, I would love to take the more technical classes, like if possible, maybe as few business classes as I can. And schools are always happy to accommodate you, make arrangements because like you are a customer at the end of the day, right? Like you feel like a student, but you are a customer and you're paying them a lot of money, so you should be able to kind of dictate a little bit about some flexibility when it comes to your curriculum. Um, Another thing to note is don't chase like hyphenated degrees or degrees with a lot of commas or slash marks. For example, um, I I know some people like the NJIT Masters in IT because it says Masters in Information Technology and Administration Security, which is weird because it used to say Information Technology Administration and Security. Now it says and Administration Security. So I don't know if that's a typo on the site or what. Uh, it doesn't. A lot of IT degrees are similar. A master's in IT versus master in IT administration and security and business and um, I don't know, networking and data. Like people don't really look that deep into the title. A lot of the time, they're just focused on where did you get your graduate degree from, and then they look at what program it is. And even then, I'm not seeing a lot of HR folks discriminate between information systems and information technology. I have seen some discrimination. I have seen some places that still look at the information systems as sort of like an easier or lesser degree, because they know that it's there's some business involved and it's not entirely technical. But at the same time, I mean, if we go back 15 years, guess what? When people were getting a master's in information technology versus a master's in computer science, the master's in IT degree was, um, what is this? I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to talk into the ether and I'm getting notification. It's always when I'm recording that the entire world just comes alive. It's weird. But yeah. So there was a time where if you got a master's in IT instead of a master's in computer science, people were like, "This guy's a wimp." Like he got an easier degree. Information technologies, like it involves like one or two business classes, but they'll be like, "Oh, it's an easy degree. Like you don't know anything, you can't program, blah blah blah." And now you have the masters in IT folks going like, "Oh, information systems isn't a real degree. It's easy. All you do is take business classes." And so yeah, and I'm sure the information systems guys are turning right around and they're probably making fun of the folks who are getting a master's in business and information systems or masters in I don't know management information systems or it goes on and so forth. But yeah, don't chase a degree that's like longer. For example, like I know someone who went to Rutgers, New Brunswick for undergrad, and they got a bachelor's in like computer and electrical engineering, something like that. Like the way that degree works is that you get both degrees on your diploma. I think like regardless of major, like even if you major in computer engineering, I think you still get electrical mention. I don't know the exact relationship, but what he told me is like you don't get a degree in computer engineering and that's it, or you don't get like just electrical engineering. Like if you do one, like you still get the other, which I found interesting. And some people are attracted to that because they go like, oh, I'm kind of like both. And they choose New Brunswick over, NJIT or Stevens, where like you can only major in like one field of engineering. I don't think that chasing a degree with like a lot of different words on it is meaningful. Um, so if you have a local IT program that's Masters in Information Systems or a Masters in Information Technology, but you can drive an hour away and get one that's like, information technology and basket weaving, like don't go for the longer degree. Like the naming is just one part of the degree. Like look at the school, look at the ROI, look at the cost, look at your schedule. I mean, can you is it feasible for you to do this program? Is it online? Is it on site? Do you have to go? um so yeah, these are all things to consider. But I just want to address this because I know this kid was confused and he was like, which degree is the most impressive? And he was obviously attracted to the one that was Information Technology Administration and Security because it's the longest title, right? It's kind of like with SAT prep, they teach you that like sometimes on exams the longest answer is like the right answer, right? I don't know if that was just something I learned in SAT prep, but it actually has turned out to be kind of true in some parts of my life, which is funny. But I don't want folks to be thinking that the IT degree is like the way to go, because I have seen them disappearing from schools. Information systems degree, those master's programs are just fine. Like you will learn what you need to know in order to deliver and add value. And just don't split hairs. Don't get too complicated, right? I mean, it goes even further. It goes even further. And again, I'm not making fun of NJIT, but I love it. It's a great school. But this is something that also kind of upset me. Um, so NJIT has a master's of computer science, right? That's great. It's an IT school. Like, where's the crime, Mohammed? Like, well, where are you going with this? I'll tell you. With the master's of computer science, you can specialize. You can take some credit. You can take some elective classes at the last semester, and those credits will determine your specialization. So you can take software engineering classes, and you'll have a master's of computer science with a specialty in software engineering. Okay. You can take networking classes and have a specialty in networking. Awesome. You can take some data classes and have a specialty in data. Okay, so where's the crime? NJIT also offers masters in cybersecurity, masters in software engineering, and masters in data. So that also causes confusion because now people are like, wait, if I want to become a software engineer, do I get the masters of computer science or the masters of software engineering? Or if I want to do data science, do I get the computer science degree or do I and specialize, or do I do just a straight cybersecurity degree? So I feel like there should be some explanations, because when I go online and I go through the information, like they don't do a good job explaining. I will say this: get a master's in computer science rather than a master's in software engineering, if only because with computer science, I think you'll learn other things besides software engineering. If you just get a software engineering degree, yeah, that's very specialized, right? It's kind of like a master's in healthcare administration. That's a very specialized degree. If you can get a degree that's a little bit more versatile, like that's the thing with information systems or information technology, like or even computer science, like these are a little bit more versatile. There's with computer science, like there's a lot more you can do outside of software engineering, right? So yeah, that's really all I have to say when it comes to this graduate naming schema. And I use NJIT as an example, but a lot of schools do this. I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on the school. It's just the one I'm the most familiar with, so I'll use it as an example the most. So I hope that clarification helps people that are looking at graduate programs and are kind of confused with like, what all these similar names mean. I hope that kind of educates you a little bit on this subject. All right, inshallah, I am going to get ready for iftar and I will pump out a few more podcasts, inshallah, after Tarawih. Assalamu alaikum.